All right, all right. Welcome everybody. This is 2MW Sports Media Live. This is our first broadcast in a while. I have four special guests with me. I have Stephen Fogmeg, the creator, the leader of Objectively Biased. I have Sharon Mullen, the chocolate writer. I have Will Walker, like our resident Philly fan who fights with me about this topic for at least every day for the last week. And we have Dennis. His picture is not up right now, but he will be on. He is the leader of Ignorant Thinkers podcast. So the topic of discussion, just to get right in it, is going to be this saga that's been going on for quite a while with between Ben Simmons and the Sixers organization. People say they haven't seen anything like it. I feel like we've had, seen players in the past, uh, I guess, try to force their way out of organizations, but this one seems to be one that's gripping, I would say, gripping the nation. You got all types of media outlets writing about this topic, from the New Yorker to the New York Times. Not even Philly based places, like they're really going in on this topic. So I thought it would be good to bring up some experts in Philly basketball and can give us some insight and their opinion on the situation. So I'm going to start off by saying that I put a poll into MW Sports that asked something simple. We just argued about it, me and Fog Meg. Whose fault is it? All right, Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, or management, Sixers management. So I'm gonna start with um Fog Meg, because he was getting in on me about 5 seconds ago about this topic. And before I do that, just I want everybody to, if they see this on the rerun, just like, share, and subscribe. And we will be on Facebook the next time around, but like, share, and subscribe. But go ahead, Stephen Fogmeg. Whose fault is it? And you only got those three.
I want to preface this by saying I love you, Trish. I really do. So just in case you guys see me and Trisha go at it, this isn't anything new. It's okay. It's not personal. We love each other. We really
Yeah.
do. With that being said, you can't simplify it like this. Nah. Realistically, if we're going to get to the root of the problem and root cause, it's Philadelphia management. It's that simple. They fucked this up.
And before we just dive into it, let me just get the rest of the folks on the panel to just give their short answer. So Sharon, do you agree, disagree? Who would you say is at fault?
I'm in agreement with the Fog that it is the 76ers organization. Just real quick, I'm not going into narrative now, but they ultimately made a decision to draft the guy. They have made a decision to allow him to perform the way he has performed. They have not taken steps to improve him, in my opinion. And they're responsible for all the decisions that's been made since he's been there and going forward. Gotcha. So yeah, it ultimately rests with them, in my opinion.
So in your opinion, management, with the explanation that they did not lead Ben Simmons in the direction that he needed to be led in to grow as a player. Is that your summation of what you believe?
That's exactly right, in my opinion. Yes.
Okay. Will, do you agree with Fog and Sharon, or do you have another opinion?
So because I have to give one answer, I will agree with Fog and Sharon, but I don't give Ben Simmons the pass that management is solely responsible for his development. I refuse to.
Okay.
And no, I wasn't saying that, but I get what you're saying though.
Yeah, you're saying that Ben Simmons has a role in his own growth, and he didn't take that role. But for the most part, if you had to give a one answer, you would pick management.
You have to pick management. You have to, because they pay him.
Okay, simple enough. And let's see, is Dennis around? I don't know if Dennis is here. Dennis isn't here. Well, here's the thing. I pick Joel Embiid. Um, I believe that Joel Embiid, at the end of the day, management is management. I know they pay the players, but I think Joel Embiid put us in the situation right now because at the end of the day, the players are in the trenches with one another. And Joel Embiid, he's well, he's not even. I wanted to say he's young, but he's not. This is his 10th season almost, right? I might be off, but he's the leader of the team, and you expect certain things from a leader, not just on the court, because clearly Embiid is performing, um, and he is the uh one of the top performers on the team, right? Um, but leadership is more than performing on the team, right? It's actually helping the players feel like somebody when they're nobody, is actually gathering the team when they're disoriented and saying, let's come together, right? Sort of like what Giannis was doing with the Bucks, right? During last year. But emotions, I think, split them up, right? And before I go into this, does anybody agree somewhat with that? Just a little bit. That Embiid may be somewhat at fault for some of it, not all of it. All right, I'm not going to put but do you put any blame on Embiid? Will?
Well, it depends on how far you're talking about. Oh, go ahead, Will.
No, I don't put the blame on Embiid at all. Now,
Okay.
if you want to say he was the the last straw, that haystack had to be huge if he's the last straw. No, I won't put it on at all.
Okay. Fogbag?
I said it all depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking at Embiid and saying that he might have been, like Will just said, the last straw, might have been the thing that triggered everything because of what he said in a post-game conference, okay, I guess you can apply oh, well, he said this the same way Ben is applying it, but outside of that, no, there is absolutely nothing that Embiid did that was wrong. I even in the press conference, I don't see anything Embiid did wrong.
Sharon, do you see anything wrong with what Embiid did, or am I tripping?
No, if you're talking about after they lost in the playoffs and he made the statements that Ben was why, I don't think he should have made that statement. Okay. I really think he needs work on how to better communicate in these press conferences without throwing his teammates or whoever under the bus, even if he's right. I don't think that he should have said it in that way at that time or publicly in that way. Those of you who know me well know I strongly disagree with that at any level, coach, player, water boy, I don't care who it is, GM, owner, it doesn't matter. There's certain things you just do not say about your teammate in public. That stuff belongs in, behind closed doors, and it doesn't need to be leaked either. So the only thing I can say about that is he shouldn't have said it, but this was just this past season. Ben has been Ben for a long time. He didn't just get this way last season when Embiid made those statements. So I think this is something that's been brewing before Ben said that. Before Embiid said that, which is why I can't put a lot of fault on him. Does he have anything to do with it? Sure. Maybe 2%. Maybe that's it. Because what he's done is he added fuel to the fire. The fire was already smoldering and burning. And then he just took lighter fluid and threw on it. And why do that? That's how I see it. I'm not going to say he didn't have that he had zero to do with the situation But yeah, like the person in the comments is saying, I do recall him making statements about Ben Simmons throughout the years in his favor and trying to be a supportive teammate until that series.
Gotcha. Shout out to BD. He said Embiid has encouraged and defended Ben publicly for years. Dennis, you're on mute.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah. So we missed your opinion about whether or not it was well, whose fault do you put it on? Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons, or management? Can you tell me what your opinion is?
I think I'm gonna have to put it on management. I think we've been through. There's been 4 general managers so far. Has it been Sam Hinkie, Colangio, Elton Brand, and who they got? I forgot what they got now. Yeah, we've been through all those GMs trying to trust the process, trying to get things together. We got the players for the picks, and I just personally believe that we didn't get all the pieces that we should have got. You know, Markel Fultz was not the guy we thought he was going to be. Michael Carter Williams was shipped out. Nolan's Noel ain't really make it that far. You know, it was a lot of wasted picks there. So now we stuck with these 2 corner pieces of Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And from what I'm hearing, Ben Simmons has been coddled, you know, the whole time. Nobody really wants him to. Nobody really encourages him to shoot. Nobody says that he needs to shoot. You know, before Kobe Bryant died, that was one of the things that he said. You know, he got to shoot the ball because, you know, he got to develop a jump shot. There's other players who, you know, was sort of in the same situation, but they went and they changed their ways. Like, you know, Giannis Antetokounmpo, he went, changed his ways, and he started shooting, kept shooting, and didn't care if he kept missing, but he was going to shoot.
So the panel already is what 3 or 4-1 against me, like picking that Embiid is important. And you know, I had this long conversation with Will, but even before the show, and say that the stars are always given the benefit of the doubt. I do truly believe that Embiid made a misstep in talking about his second guy or his right hand guy or what the 1B guy in public. And I know games are emotional, but still he can't do that. But let's talk about management, right? So I was reading, and this is not a sports blog, but I was reading the New Yorker, and I posted some information about their opinion on it, and they said even Doc Rivers went in the media, right? Which is something like aside from having multiple GMs and going through all of that, but Doc Rivers was asked a question, and then and it came off as if he was also upset at Ben Simmons. And I'll read the quote. This was right after the end of the series, and they said the team's coach Doc Rivers, when asked whether Simmons could be the point guard for a championship team, committed the cardinal sin of honesty by saying that he didn't know, right? And then he's been trying very hard to walk that comment back ever since, right? Philly fans started referring to the moment often in anger simply as the pass, right? But that's going on to a next topic. But even the coach publicly says something about you. Now let's put all that together. You have the GMs. You have, I personally think, Embiid saying something wrong about Ben Simmons or negative things about Ben Simmons in the public, and then you have the coach Doc Rivers. Do you blame Ben Simmons for acting the way he is acting now? Because personally, if the coach is against me, right, my lead is against me, why should I be there? Fogmeg, I see your smirk. What say you?
Well, if his perception is exactly what you're saying, that people are against him and he doesn't have an adult-like mentality, then yes, you're absolutely right. He had his response is exactly what it is. It is immature, it is childish, it is one that is not able to accept criticism. If he had a, hey, I'm going to get better, I'm going to be better, and he had a tougher skin, different story, he can roll that off his shoulders and say, hey, you know what? It is what it is. They said what they said. I can talk to them behind the scenes afterwards and we can move forward, because at the end of the day, the team goal is to win a championship. So it's a matter of what's in his character. And right now, what's in his DNA is something that Kobe Bryant would call soft.
Speaking of Kobe Bryant, Sharon, what is your opinion? Do you think Ben Simmons is being childish?
Yeah, I believe he's not. I believe he's not being smart. That's my thing. Not only is he being lightweight, childish, I just don't believe he's being smart, and I believe he's got people chirping in his ear that he has more power
Rich
than
Paul.
he actually does. Yeah, I was trying to not to say his name, but I believe that somebody's chirping in his ear.
I got you, Sharon. Don't worry. I got
You see what I'm saying? Puffing him up to believe he's not LeBron. You don't have that much clout, dude. I mean, you're Ben Simmons and you're great and all that, but you know, okay, can I back up just really quickly?
Yeah.
You got to remember this is the same guy who was playing as, was it LSU?
LSU.
Oh, is she about to go there?
Oh,
Oh
yes,
my
I am.
God, Sharon,
Yes,
I
I am.
love you.
Yes,
Because
and you should.
I have a love-hate relationship with him in general. But I'm highly disappointed in him. I'll put it that way. I don't hate him. I don't dislike him, but I'm highly disappointed. You got to remember this is the same guy who was at LSU saying that first of all, he didn't care about college.
Yep.
Trisha Joy, you know me. You know me well with this subject. And for somebody to be playing college ball to say, I don't really care about college, really irked me. It got under my skin when he said it. That's one. Two, reports came out from his teammates that his I don't care attitude boiled over into the locker room.
All the time. Yep.
He thought that he was just so talented. He didn't need to do all the drills that they did. He didn't need to do all the practices that they did. He didn't have to do all the strength and conditioning they did. So when he gets to the NBA, his rookie season and gets injured, what do you think his teammates back at LSU were saying? They were like, well, yeah, we know how he got injured. He probably wasn't conditioning because he skipped all this stuff when he was here. I'm sure they weren't surprised that he got injured. And so, you know, I'm looking at all this and I'm thinking, boy, what this dude come here? I'm like, everybody, and yes, Fogmeg is also right. We were talking in the pre-show about how media, fans, everybody was saying he's the next LeBron James. Look at this guy. Watch him play. He's the next LeBron James. Every time an LSU game came on TV, I watched it because I wanted to see. If you're going to talk about he's the next of anybody, I want to see him, right? And I'm just sitting here like, okay, he's bowling okay, but it's nothing super exciting for that level. So now fast forward to now. People are amazed and shocked and stunned that he's behaving this way. No, this is the idiot that was in college saying he didn't care about college. So my expectation for him, until he proves me otherwise, I'm not stunned and shocked by what he's doing now. That's just a continuation of his behavior. He came in the league with that attitude. And from what I understand, I'm being told, not only by Dennis from the people who talked with him, and Dennis is in Philly too, he is being coddled. He's not being forced to shoot. I mean, and this is not a personal attack against him moment for me. I'm just saying this is all the information that I'm looking at. I'm also the type of person, though, Trisha, as you know, I can separate things. I'm very good at separating things. So I am not going to use all that backstory that I just gave you guys that's listening. I'm not going to use that and let that cloud my opinion about this particular subject. I'm just giving you some context to understand this behavior that Ben is exhibiting should not be surprising to you if you think back to his history. That's all I'm saying.
Right. Will, do you have any comments on the coddling part? Just
So here's what I'll say. I think upper management coddled Ben Simmons. I don't think lower management coddled Ben Simmons at all. This is what I'll say about Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons was injured his first year in the league, just like Joel Embiid was.
Mm-hmm.
Both players came into the league with shooting deficiencies, especially at the free throw line.
Mm-hmm.
Joel Embiid has improved on his free throw shooting and his three-point shooting every single year he's been in the league. He started that very year that he got hurt, where he couldn't put a lot of pressure on his foot. So he literally came out in Philadelphia, and I have sources around here that can confirm that he literally sat in the gym and shot free throws. Ben Simmons had an entire year injured where he could not run, and all he had to do was stand at the free throw line and shoot free throws. I won't put that on anybody else but him. They tried to get him a shooting coach. He didn't want the shooting coach. He opted for his brother. They come out in the media and they say, well, we're not going to force him to shoot, but we just want him to shoot when he's open. Brett Brown came out originally saying he doesn't have to shoot. Then he came out a couple of years later saying, well, listen, I've been asking Ben to shoot all year.
No, which one is it?
Right. So that's the thing, though. You know, that's confusing about it. But the fact of the matter is, his teammates have asked him to shoot. His JJ Redick's podcast, he literally comes out saying that he tried to help Ben shoot, and Ben didn't really get too excited about the offer.
Yeah, he said he wasn't interested.
Right. So that to
and
me,
JJ Redick, just for context, JJ Redick is very close friends with Ben Simmons. They've maintained a relationship afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So for JJ Redick to say that, people, there's a little bit of truth to this.
yes.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think that, you know, Sharon made an interesting point where she said she didn't want to use his history, but I mean, I think it keeps on coming through. You can't get rid of it.
That's
Every single time.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, oh, well, is he, you know, when will he shoot? Kobe says, well, when are you going to shoot? Oh, well, Kobe's a great guy. I'm just so happy to think that he loves me and that he wants me to be the best and he thinks I can be the best. Oh, well, LeBron. Oh, well, he just has to work at his game. Oh, well, LeBron just so happy to be compared to LeBron. No, you're too busy drinking your own salt. He's smelling himself. You can't improve when you're that way. So I can't put it on lower management because lower management doesn't pay him. Right. I definitely think his coaches went to him and tried to help with his form. I definitely think the team tried to help him by hiring shooting coaches. I think the problem came in upper management where they basically said, well, listen, he's going to stay here regardless of what he does. We're going to pay him whether he performs or not, whether he turns out this, whether he improves or not, we're going to pay him. So you guys just have to deal with him on the lower end. I think that's the frustration that Doc displayed in the post-game conference.
I have a question for Dennis. If everyone is saying that the guy is not doing the most he can to get to become a better player, and there's all this controversy in the back end, why are they looking to keep him? Why make
well, I'm gonna tell you why. Because I think Will, you from Philadelphia, Will?
Most certainly.
Yeah, so you know, like I know, when people leave Philadelphia, they go and become better. That's what is what happened. It's like everything that we wanted you to do in Philadelphia, you don't do it, you go somewhere else and you do it. And the whole time, we just sitting there, we like, why couldn't you do that? Like, but prime example, Markel Fultz. Markel
Iggy.
Fultz in Orlando
Iguodala.
looked good.
Andre
Okay?
Iguodala. Same thing.
Well, no, Iguodala was growing with us. He actually was getting better with us. But Markel Fultz,
He got better when he
Markel
left.
Fultz in Orlando looks good. Okay,
I blame Ben for that.
and
That's
he looks
we won't
good.
get into it, but I blame Ben for that.
It's things like that. We'll draft guys. They'll be okay here. They'll leave. They'll become superstars. And then the whole time we just sit like, damn, why we have him?
So you basically just
And this is all Philly
this is
sports.
territorial. This is not
all
even
Philly sports. All 4 for 4 on this, okay? 4 for 4 on this.
Except for Foles. Foles came back and was great for us. But we'll leave it there.
we'll leave it there. Because my love for Nick Foles. Stephen.
Well, Keith Jackson left, and Keith Jackson didn't do shit in Miami either. I will say that he did play a little better, but he didn't do like.
Right. Fogmag, why are you guys chasing Ben Simmons if you hate him, or if he's not good for the team?
Listen, I don't
really
know.
not
I don't know
chasing
why they're
I
doing
actually
it.
wanted him to go.
Okay.
I just don't know what we're gonna get for him. I'm satisfied with getting the kid from Sacramento, the Aaron Fox. I'm satisfied with that. I mean, I'll take the 2 guards from Cleveland if they get them up.
I'll take Colin Sexton.
Man.
Yeah, but Fogmag, let's hear from you. Why are you guys running after someone you don't think is good for the team?
Listen, if I was in charge, he'd have been gone 2 years ago. So would have Brett Brown. He wouldn't have made it after that champion that Eastern Conference Finals. They're going to chase him because they need to. They fucked this up again. This goes back on management. They screwed all of this up. So now they're trying to clean up the public mess that spilled over, all the leaks that came out. And they're trying to clean it up because they need to get some type of trade value, they realize. So now this is just a process of cleaning up a mess of the process that they originally created. That's what this is at the end of the day. So that's why they're chasing him now, because they want to try to clean this up. Ben Simmons is, again, like Sharon said, he's being fed. And Rich Paul knows exactly what's going on. He understands the climate of what they're in right now, and he's got full control, unfortunately. So he's going to play the cards the way he needs to play them for his client and what's in the best interest of him, not in the best interest of the organization. The organization, unfortunately, fumbled that.
So I wanna bring it full circle and wrap this up. I have a question for each of you. And we can start again with Fogmag and work our way around. Will Ben Simmons play for the Sixers this year?
Absolutely not. He won't. He won't. It's just that simple. He's made his stance. He has his leverage at the end of the day. And he's still going to get paid the boatload of his contract at the end of the day.
Sharon, will we see Ben Simmons in a Sixers jersey this year?
I do not believe so. I don't believe he's going to play with them ever again. And I don't even understand why they're trying to insist on him being there. I would let him go too. But they're not.
Will?
I don't think he will, but I understand why they're trying to keep it. I don't think it has to do with a lot of the other things. Honestly, the guy is very, very talented at what he's good at. Just can't shoot. And so that's why you got to go back to management, because the fact of the matter, you build around him, you don't have to worry about that properly.
Right.
Just pick-me's,
I'm sorry. You can get somebody else that's just as talented as him.
Well, I'm a fan of.
that can also shoot the ball.
Well, I'm a fan of Levert and Brogdon for Simmons. That's what I've been championing from the beginning. Go to the Pacers, get Levert and Brogdon, give them something else in the deal. You can give them picks for all I care. Those two guys with Embiid, you get two bona fide scorers and one in Levert that can be your closer with the right development. I'm all for that. Problem is, I don't know if the Sixers can get him. And I don't think you trade Ben Simmons for a bag of penny candy.
Well,
All right.
well, I think that would be a good move because Levert's not happy in Indiana. So
Right.
Well, so Fogbeck thinks Darian Fox or the guys in which guards in the Celtics? You said Sexton?
No, the Cavaliers. I'd love to have
Cavaliers,
Colin Sexton, but I tell you what, Will's trade option, I'd absolutely listen. Philadelphia sucks with their draft picks anyway. Give the next 2 years first, second, and third round draft picks. You're gonna fuck it up anyway, regardless with whoever you draft. They're gonna go to another team and have success later.
Right.
And they're the 26th pick in the draft anyway. So
Right.
So it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
I'll give my opinion closing. I feel I'm on the fence. You guys know I don't want Ben Simmons coming back. I think that Ben Simmons isn't childish. I think he's doing exactly what he should be doing. If somebody did that to me on national television, you wouldn't see or catch wind from me at all for the rest of your life. But maybe I need some growing up. I would never. I'm just being honest. You would never see
I
me.
plead the fifth.
It's Philly,
Huh?
It's Philly. Like, it's
Listen,
a different place. You gotta have thicker skin than that here.
I mean, same goes both ways. If I don't want to talk to you, why are you chasing? So leave me alone. If he literally told you, don't talk to me, I don't want to have nothing to do with you, why are you running after him? He told you, leave him alone. Right?
Well, they've got the contract. There's that.
Right. But listen,
So
they benefit from him not playing. Like financially speaking, like they don't have to pay him. I think in his contract, his contract says that he should get 50% of his check up, like in the first part of the season up front. So him not being there, they save money, right? So that means they really truly want him on the court. They want him to play.
I don't think it's about the money though, Trisha. You know how teams are.
I understand.
You know how teams are in the whole public opinion thing. And
it's
never
the optics of everything. It's
right.
the optics of everything. Exactly where Sharon's going with this.
Right. They don't want anybody to think that this player got them on the run or whatever, or got one up on them. They don't ever.
Number one,
that.
Number two. If that public perception, the optics of this is he's got one up on him, guess what they can't do? Number two, get proper trade value for him.
That's right. That's what it's about. If they could trade him right now, he'd be gone.
I think so.
If they could get the right package, he'd be gone. The package is so sky high because what people are offering is so low. Like nobody wants Andrew Wiggins for Ben Simmons. I just don't want that.
Nope.
So give me a decent player. I might even do it, and he's not ready yet, but I might do Karis LeVert straight up. Why? Because he's got the same size profile. He's not scared to shoot the ball, and he plays defense. They both have injury issues. The problem is that on the table.
Okay, I understand what you're saying, Fogmeg.
Hold on.
I understand.
Hold on. Wait. Did he say he want Ben Simmons for Karis LeVert straight up?
Yep. The guy that was able to put up 40 and 50 in 2 games this year.
No,
the guy plays great defense.
You have to give me a little bit more. Give me TJ Warren or something. Give me somebody want to fight Jimmy Butler. Give me somebody like that. Give me somebody
ready to fight.
Give me somebody with some fight in him. You know what I mean? It could be North Philly TJ. You know what I mean?
There you go. But that goes back to what Fogmag was saying earlier. Like I was a big proponent of Simmons for Trey before Trey became a big thing. I wanted Trey Young in Philadelphia years ago.
Yeah, I did too.
You know,
And everybody, the ladies know, they know very well how hard I root for Trey Young. But
Yep.
yeah, that we wasn't gonna get that.
I mean, listen. I think everyone had great points about who or the options and things like that. I constantly see in the comments, and shout out to Abidi again. They said, I'm shocked that people are saying anything wrong with him. That saying Embiid said anything wrong after Game 7 and the loss, and
He
that's
did.
I mean, that's the basis of my whole thing. Like, everyone doesn't see something wrong with pretty much disrespecting your teammate in public if he did something wrong. I'm baffled why people don't see how
How
wrong
that's wrong. Right.
what he did was. Like,
Right.
regardless of how bad Ben Simmons actually is, like, there are things that you just don't do to people, period. Right. And then had the nerve, right? I feel like I read in the that recently Embiid said it was disrespectful for Ben Simmons not to be there. Again, like, everything is wrong with what Ben Simmons did. Everything that Ben Simmons does is disrespectful, but nobody sees anything wrong with the leader of the team saying something bad about another player. Nothing.
I think
No,
at this
I don't.
I think at this point the shit has already hit the fan. So anything Embiid, especially when the story came out that it was Simmons that had an issue with Jimmy Butler being there,
Yep.
when Embiid didn't have an issue with Butler. I think this is just a situation boiling over, and this is Embiid. Maybe he would have retracted his statements, or maybe he would have had a conversation with Ben after that Game 7 presser.
Mhm.
But when Ben Simmons went the route he did, Embiid just put his shoulders and said, fuck it, shrugged it. Like, this is what it is. This is where we're at this point. I don't care. There's nothing I'm going to say that's going to make a difference or matter in this guy's mind. So I'm just going to say what occurred, what's the truth. And if you've noticed, off of everything Embiid has said publicly, there hasn't been a counter by Ben Simmons at all to change that so-called narratives. So at this moment, we got to roll with, damn, what Embiid might be saying is 100% true. And Ben Simmons is, again, SWAFT, SWAFT.
Oh. Shout out to Enzo. Shout out to Enzo for that one. I'm gonna have to say, let me just go with the Sixers and as a whole. I think Tyrese Maxey is gonna be a star. I really believe that, but I think we're gonna have to get rid of Tobias too. I really believe that for him to be a third option, he got to be giving up the quietest 20 points I've ever seen in my life for a third option.
you can't. So I'm torn
Another
on
management
Tobias.
issue. Another management issue.
Exactly.
God damn it.
And that's the biggest problem with Tobias right now is the way the team is built. So Tobias as a third option is not a bad thing, but the problem is you don't have an offensive second option. Seth Curry should not be your second option on offense. He's a great shooter, and he's a guy that you will want to catch fire some games and give you 20 points. He should not be a second option. The problem is your second best player is not your second option.
Right.
The Sixers they were built flawed from the beginning. They should have never went to get Tobias Harris because all he does is create a log jam on the team. There's a one less ball handler on the floor because he's not going to bring it up for you. He's a tweener, so he's not actually a power forward or a small forward. So you don't know where to play him on defense. And then you go out and get this guy to put him in a starting lineup with Ben Simmons. And before you got what's his name? Green.
Danny Green.
Before you go and get
Danny
Danny Green,
God.
you got one shooter in the starting lineup, and Danny Green is so streaky that you can't even really count him all the time as the second one.
I don't even call him a shooter.
Right.
So you
Not
built
anymore.
the team around Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid completely wrong. You had the draft capital and you had the finances to actually go out and get exactly what you needed, but you got impatient because Elton Brand needed to make a splash.
Because his job was on the line.
I'm not even opposed to Fultz. Some people don't like Fultz, but the fact of the matter is, Fultz would have been a great second guard for this team. On the second line, he'd have been a perfect second line player for this team.
Yeah, but you don't draft the guy number one for the
Fultz?
second line.
You don't draft him first. They shouldn't have traded up for him. But the fact of the matter is, when they got him, he was on the team already. They
But
should
if
have
you don't-
never
if you don't
traded
trade
up
up
for him.
for
They
him,
could have
you
got him
get-
at 3.
If you don't trade up for him, you get Tobias Harris. I mean, you get Jason Tatum. I'm sorry,
Or you get Ja Morant.
but I ain't
Not
just
Ja Morant. What's your boy? Your boy,
Fogmeg.
your boy
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray, exactly.
Jamal
If you don't
Murray.
trade up, you get what you want. You got plenty of shooters in that draft. You even had wasn't Buddy Hield in that draft? I feel like Buddy Hield was
I
down
didn't
the
believe
line.
nobody like that.
So you got, but he's another shooter. You get another shooter and another ball handler. So you get your guaranteed shooting. Instead, you trade your picks, you trade more draft capital, which you could have used. I mean, they could have given Houston 6 first-round picks for James Harden had they not done the move that they did.
I don't think
So
that.
all it is, James Harden was never coming to Philly. I guarantee you, if they put 6 picks in front of Houston, 6 number ones from all the bum teams in the league, they could have gotten whatever they wanted for any player. You know, I'm not saying James Harden's the guy.
Where he at? I'm cool.
Huh?
Keep James Harden where he
saying
at.
James Harden exactly, but I'm saying they had the firepower to get whatever they wanted.
I wouldn't want him either.
Listen,
Well, Trisha,
yes.
can I please address what your friend is saying in the comments?
Why
Hey,
you gotta be
I'm
my
sorry.
friend? This is
Before
just
you
an
address,
Yes, go ahead.
Where are we located at?
Oh, I'm in West Philly right now.
No, not that. I'm talking about the show. The show.
Oh, on YouTube.
I was on YouTube. All right, okay.
YouTube.
I'm in West Philly as well right now. To be honest with you,
Yeah.
I'm at 53rd and Parkside.
Oh, okay. I'm on the other side. I'm over off the creek, right off Vine Street.
Oh, okay.
Guess
Oh
what?
yeah, I know exactly what it. No, I don't. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Know nothing about Philly. Never been there.
Yeah.
But BD, let me explain something to you, BD. So BD in the comments said that it sounds like the ladies have fallen victim to the media spin. I would recommend playing the question that was asked in the response that Joel gave after that Game 7 loss. You'll see that the media is misrepresenting it. And he said the idea that Embiid said anything wrong after Game 7 is a deliberate media misrepresentation. I call BS on that because I don't know who BD is. I don't know who this person is, but apparently you must not know Trisha and I because we do our homework.
Right. I'm not.
And trust me when I say both of us listened to the question that was asked and his answer. It wasn't hard to interpret what he said. And I actually have the quote verbatim on my screen right now, what he said. And I'm here to tell you, BD, this is not media misrepresenting anything. I even read the whole thing. What was asked, what was answered, what was asked, what was answered by him and their coach. So I'm sorry, but that's not correct, sir or ma'am, whatever one you are. I am not a victim to the media spin, and neither is Trisha.
Oh, there's no media spin here. I'm just looking
media spin here.
How like I would never ever go back. I would not even go. Like they said he might go back and be injured. I think Will, you gave me that. Just sit on. No, you would never see my face again. Like you can't. Like there is no coming back from disrespect to me in any. It could have been on a Facebook Live. I don't care. Like once you said it out loud and I'm supposed to be playing with you, there is no coming back at whatsoever. I don't care if you call it being unprofessional. I feel like it's unprofessional just to even say it. Like, you know how players always spin things. They're like, hey, everybody played hard. They give that generic thing, right? When they know it's a question that would lead to some kind of like disarray or break up the locker room, they would spin it, but he didn't spin it. And
No.
basketball.
Well, Tom Brady took Bruce Arians' comments, came back and won a championship. So I guess it's just the character and the way you're built.
No, I
And
feel like
he's
you
built
guys are not realistic
soft.
people. Y'all not.
What do you mean
realistic.
realistic people? Do you know how many times I get insulted a day?
I mean, I know that,
and
but
I still smile and I say thank you and I appreciate you for watching.
At
Tune
your
in
regular
tomorrow
job.
and insult me some more. Exactly.
At your regular job where you're not getting 200 million over the next 5 years.
That's
Like-
true. That's true. But that's where it's, and I'm not saying I'm a perfect person or I'm the way, like I know the way to the perfect way to react.
Trisha,
but
you gotta
okay,
stop being Ralph Tresvant.
if it is me and you say one thing, no, you would never see me
No,
again.
Will.
Get off your
That's
Ralph
bad.
Tresvant.
Time out.
No, I would
That's
Leave it alone.
bad,
Leave
Will.
that sensitivity.
Will has known me for years.
I know it, but that was bad.
Will has known me for years. I'm very much like one way out. Like you get one chance, right?
Look, I'm not gonna kill a 26-year-old kid for saying something that he's probably been saying in the locker room for the last 5 years. After he just lost a game, when the fact of the matter is the Sixers, they had a very, very good chance to win the championship last year. All of the top teams were gone. They had a very good chance to win the championship last year. And for this guy who has been doing poorly all series long, you're the leader of the team. And Trish, we talked about this off the air. Anybody who plays basketball knows that if you're in the post and I see you have a mismatch, and I do two things. I pass you the ball and I take 2 steps away. That means I don't want the ball back. I don't want the ball to go to anybody else. The ball is in your hands. I don't care how bad you've been doing this whole time. Go get me a bucket. And if you don't, I don't even want to look at you the same anymore, especially if you pass out of a dunk at the rim. I don't even want to see you the same anymore.
Wide open.
Will.
Wide open.
One. Let's do 1 second because they said there's sensitivity. Beatty, I don't have a sensitivity. I'm kind of cold, and that's the problem here. I don't have feelings. So like if people say bad things to me, like I immediately cut them off because I have no feelings. There's no negotiation.
Patricia, he said Ben Simmons is a jelly donut.
Yeah, I mean that's true. I mean soft, sweet, whatever. But like, yeah, I have no feelings. That's where the problem is. I don't give people second chances. I just don't. But we can disagree. Agree to disagree on what the right move was with that play. Will, we talked about this right before the game, the show. I felt like Ben Simmons, it could have been 50-50. He was very close to the rim. If he decided not to dunk, it was because he was just very close, right? Homeboy was driving to the basket anyway. He was coming towards the basket. It wasn't like he just gave him the ball and he didn't expect it. Why are you running towards the basket, right? There's no like you either bringing a guy away from the basket or you're coming to the basket for a reason, right? So to me, it's like 50-50. I understand he's 6'10". I understand he could just dunk it standing, right? But
Trisha, you played basketball. Someone gave you the ball while you were down low and you had a 5-year-old in front of you because that was the equivalent of the matchup that was going on right now. It don't matter if you dunking it or not. Your ass is going up and you get
Preach, young Fog Meg. Preach to her. I told her I am height challenged out here in the streets, and I promise you, I would have tried to dunk that basketball.
Yeah, all over. Wasn't it who was coming towards him? Wasn't it Trey Young or somebody? It was somebody.
It was who
That was
that?
Matisse Thybulle, who was sitting.
Yeah.
He was standing in the corner trying to catch.
Okay.
He was standing on the wing, ready to shoot. And
Right.
when Ben saw him, he kicked out. Matisse pump fakes to get the guy to jump, and then he tries to drive the lane.
No, I mean, who was the defender that was coming towards Ben?
Yes. There was Trey Young on the ball side, and then somebody was on the opposite side of the rim.
I mean, he has an obvious size advantage over Trey Young. What was Trey gonna do?
That.
I'm looking at the picture. I'm looking at it. I mean,
Can I ask a common sense question though, guys? Because I rewatched it, but you guys are clearly into the game more than this series. If Ben Simmons was averaging 5 points a game for the playoffs, why in the hell was Embiid passing it to him in the first place?
Because he's the second best player on the team.
No. I'm talking. We 7 games in now. It's not game 1.
I can answer
it's not
that.
game 2. But like, if you see the trend, you're actually setting yourself up for disappointment, aren't you?
No, because you always pass the ball to the open man, even if they've been cold most of the. That's a rule that coaches taught me when I was very young. You always pass it, and 2, if you've got a player that's been cold, you don't stop feeding them the ball.
That's right.
I don't care what game, you do not stop feeding them the ball. The only time you do that, does he have a broken hand or something and his shoulder messed up? Maybe then, if it's a bad injury or something like that. But you never stop feeding them because you want to help build that confidence up. So you don't stop doing that. You don't stop feeding them the ball.
I'm sorry.
He was the open man. He had the mismatch. I mean, Embiid would have passed that ball to the 13th man on the goddamn bench at the end of the day if he was in the same position. It wouldn't have changed. The only difference is we're talking about a guy that got a max contract that's supposed to be this next great superstar, and
exactly.
He looks up and goes, nah, I'm not doing this. Here, take it.
And a dunk right there fires up Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is the type of player that if he dunks that ball right there, he finally gets his pride and his confidence back. That's what gives him confidence. If you watch,
because we've seen that in the regular season.
That's right. That's right. He becomes a different player after he's done something like that.
That's fact.
Well, I just put up the the better question from BD. That maybe that this is a better question. Why did the coach have Ben Simmons on the floor in the fourth quarter on an offensive possession? Can you speak to that? Anyone? I mean, I guess it's the same answer, right? Like,
well, my answer is that's 3-1. That's a 3-1 coach. Dennis knows what I mean when I say that.
Yeah.
How many times has he lost in the playoffs after leading 3-1, being up 3-1? And he's lost several times. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, I think you need his defense too. I mean, at that time,
just ask Dennis that question when he come back in here and see what he says.
So basically, Doc Rivers made a mistake.
I can't say that. I have to look at what transpired before this play to really figure that out. I really would have to go back and look because I can't remember.
Okay. Well,
I think it's a matter of you put the best players out that are available, and Ben Simmons, regardless of how we're trashing him right now with what he has done, he's still one of the better players out there when it comes to moving the ball, when it comes to defense, when it comes to seeing the court. Problem is he just can't see the basket at this point.
Right.
Yeah, he has very high basketball IQ. He really does.
The reason why I had this show is because I was really confused as to why people were giving Ben Simmons such a hard time. Right. Because if you think he's this good, and the numbers are showing that he is still good, but the headlines are saying he's regressed. He's the worst. Or people saying I've never seen a player get worse. And I look at the numbers, I'm like, is he getting worse? I feel like he's pretty much the same. Or
Well, no, he has gotten worse in his field goal percentage, especially outside of 10 feet. And that's a problem. When you got a guy who's 6'10" and outside of 10 feet, he's shooting less than 33%, like between the 10 to 16 foot category. And then outside of 16 feet, his shot percentage is non-existent at this point. I got a better field goal percentage outside of 16 feet than he does. Right. And I don't even play on a regular basis. That's a big problem. And you've seen this regression, and it's been very specific in the playoffs going from 2018 to now. You've seen a significant decline in his playoff numbers from then to now. That's where the regression is.
Don't forget the free throws. Do not forget the free throws.
Yeah,
free throws shooting is the way you win championships.
You know, listen, he's building housing projects in Philly right now.
as he knocking them down, he building them back up. You ain't.
If he could shoot free throws, they wouldn't have made it to Game 7. If we're honest, if Ben Simmons could shoot free throws, the Sixers don't go to Game 7. I mean, would he miss 30 free throws that series? They might not have lost all 7 games by a total of 30 points. Well, no, I think they got blown out one game, so I won't say that. But I'll tell you, the last 3 games, they couldn't have been decided by 30 points.
Yeah, Game 1, we got blown out.
Right.
Game 1, they shot the lights out the gym.
Right. So this guy being a good free throw shooter changes who he is. People say, well, no, he's not the next LeBron James. I'm not going to call him the next LeBron James. I think he could be if he could shoot, but could and if are big words when it comes to big Ben Simmons. Because I think he's a better rebounder than LeBron James is. He's probably a slightly better ball handler than LeBron James is. But he has absolutely, in my opinion, no killer instinct at all. He has none. He has zero aggressiveness in his body unless he has confidence wrapped all around him at all times.
Listen, I'll take that back to when he was in LSU. They had a game against Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma was ranked number 1 at that time. They were up, and with 10 minutes left to go, Ben Simmons took not one single shot in 10 minutes, and they wound up losing that game. That's all you need to know about who this guy is when he's in the spotlight and the pressure's on.
They had a chance to go to the tournament.
Yep.
In his year at LSU. He decided that once his draft stock was where it needed to be, he didn't need to play.
Well, listen, guys, if you're telling me all of this from LSU, why did you draft him?
That's Sixers management.
It
goes back to the beginning of this question. The beginning of this show. Who is at fault? It's the management.
The management.
Well, it's the management. That's why I feel the way I do. And that's the reason why I gave that context, that narrative about his college experience for that reason, because as my answer was management, it includes their decision to draft him. In other words, he told you who he was.
That's right.
You knew who he was. You drafted him anyway. And then you got him there. He's like the team is like a woman. You know how women always get these crazy ass men and they think they can change them. I can change them. That's what Philly's like, a damn woman. We can change Ben. We can change Ben.
I'm gonna tell you the truth on this one. A lot of, and y'all are 100% right. But a lot of young players now believe that they get drafted on their high school ability.
Yep.
Like they're going to college to play that 1 year, but if you look at the mock draft before they even step foot in college, they're already projected to be a lottery pick.
Yep.
Right.
So they're just going to do just enough just to make sure that they still end up being a lottery pick.
Mm-hmm. And I'll tell
And
you right
so,
now.
But Dennis, the only exception I take, I think you're right. But here's what I will say to that. The only ones that have that attitude that do just enough, yeah, they may be a lottery pick, but they don't pan out in the NBA.
That's right.
They become mediocre players. But the players who take it seriously and do more than just enough to be a lottery pick, those are the ones that we're talking about now, like John Morant. That's why we still talk about this dude. He's not going to fade out because he exudes effort. He exudes this game. And he's like, look, I'm here and I'm going to let it be known I'm here. And I ain't taking no backseat to nobody. I'm Ja effing Morant and I'm here to stay. And he proves it year in, year out. You know how I feel about that dude. I love Ja Morant.
Mm-hmm.
But he's serious about it. But I agree with you. And I agree that this is part of Ben Simmons' problem. But he told you that's what he was about. That's my whole point. He told everybody that's who he is. He's living up to who he is. What you gonna do with that?
Now I know we're talking about the Sixers, but as a situation that's about to blow on in New Orleans about Zion.
Yes.
And eventually we're gonna have that conversation.
Right. Oh, we gonna have it because I already told you when he was drafted, he wasn't the best. He wasn't the best in the game at the time when he was drafted. He was not the best in the draft. I told you.
Ja was the best in the draft.
He's also on the verge of trying to maybe force his way out of the Pelicans. So maybe this
somebody's in that ear again.
This show ends up being a show about the therapy and how the players therapy. That's what I'll name it from now on. Therapy. NBA therapy. We sit down and talk about the softer side. Okay. We're gonna
the couch. The jump. This is the couch. Welcome to the couch.
Yeah, those are good names. By next week, we'll have the new name. It's either NBA therapy or the couch.
Right? The couch. We'll call it the couch.
So before we leave, I want each of you just to say you said he won't be in the of Sixers jersey this year. Just state the team that you guess he might be on. Starting with Fogmeg, what team do you think Ben would end up on?
Left bench. I don't think anyone's going to trade for his ass. I think Philly's stuck with him for the year.
Philly. Sharon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I don't think they're not going to give Philly what Philly is asking for him. And teams are not going to be willing to take, to give any more than what they're willing to give. And Philly won't accept it. So.
Okay.
He won't play, but he'll be sitting there.
Dennis?
I'm going with Cleveland.
Okay. Will?
I got you. I'm going to say Oklahoma City.
Oh, you're a troll. You're a troll.
I was about to say, no, he didn't.
Why?
Y'all got plenty of picks. On us. And I like your guards over there. Y'all may as well send them on over here to Philly.
No deal. I don't care what.
They do have a lot of picks, though. That's a true statement.
We had 976 draft picks, and we're not giving Philadelphia not a single one. So you can get your hopes up. We wouldn't even trade the janitor. We keeping everybody the way it is, and we go for the chip. Me, I think. Not really sure the team, but I like Dennis's lane about like a small market team. So perhaps if I can name one that I was thinking about, maybe Detroit. So that might be an option. I don't know if there's anybody on Detroit that you would possibly want, but
only thing I can say about Detroit, if he can't handle Philly, Did not take his ass to Detroit. Mm-mm.
Exactly.
I don't know if any of y'all been to Detroit, but
Right.
Detroit people, they are much like Philly. They do not play
Right.
about their sports up there.
But I can also see what Fogman says. Like nobody
Ass
would
out of
trade for
town.
him, but I don't think it's that anybody wouldn't trade for him. I just think that I don't know. I think that Philly is in their business approach to this kind of confuses me. Like I understand what Fogman says about leverage, but like if a player don't want to be there, you gotta let them go, and you gotta do everything you can to let them go because your organization needs to look good, and not in the way you're saying they need to look good, but if you see that a player wants to leave and you do your best to get them out, other players look at your organization and say, wow, they will work for me, they'll help me get where I need to go. So I think they're actually working backwards in this sense. They need to, even if nobody is trying to trade for him, they need to pretend outwardly like they're hustling hard, like really fake it, like they really trying to get him out, because the rest of the league who might end up wanting to be there, they'll see that this is an organization that works to give the players what they want. Ben does not want to be there, but they're holding him there. It's like hostage. So now everyone is going to look at Philly like, hell no, I don't want to be there, because if I did want to leave, they're not going to work for my best interest. So we'll see. Anyway, Fogman's face like, no. Well, yeah. But whatever. Y'all are doomed anyway. So with that said,
Hey, we're not doomed. 10-9-8-76ers. We will be back. All right.
yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah,
10,
I'm trusting the process. I'm gonna keep trusting. I'm gonna
Trust
keep
the
trusting.
process.
I'm gonna keep trusting with y'all. I mean, Oklahoma City might get to the playoffs before y'all. But
10-9-8-76ers.
y'all keep the spirit. Keep the spirit. With that said, I want to thank Stephen Fogmeg from Objectively Biased. I want to thank the chocolate writer Sharon. I want to thank Dennis from Ignorant Thinkers podcast, and I want to thank Will, who should have a podcast, and will
It's
at
coming.
some point. So we're gonna thank his podcast soon. And again, thank you for catching this episode. I'm gonna chop it up and put it all over the place, but we will be back again. Thank you for my first podcast in
Yeah.
700 days.
Yeah,
Look at her
I'm not
face.
gonna say it. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank
and
you
we'll
for
see you
having
next
us,
week.
Trisha. We
All
appreciate
right.
it.
Thanks, Trisha.
Bye.
Mhm.